Welcome to episode 8 of the Crypto Spendthrift Podcast. Alright, we're starting off here with the Coin Watch like usual. And I gotta say, not much has changed on this Coin Watch list except there's one new addition and a little bit of subtractions, but subtractions doesn't matter. So, we got the bread and butter, Bitcoin and Ether. There was a correction with Ether recently, but of course it went back up. This is just standard procedures in cryptocurrencies right now, especially if you've been around for a few years. I'm sure there was a lot of people freaking out, like the people just started to get in and they see these $100 drops or $50 drops or just massive amount of money just being lost in a very short amount of time, and they panic sell, but they don't realize about, I'd say, half the time it bounces back up, and more than half the time when it's the bigger stuff like Bitcoin or Ether. These things are usually just temporary, guys. The market, like on its own, is still pretty in the infancy stage, and we'll talk a bit about the overall market in a bit in the second segment. So we're moving on to the next coin, Scicoin. Now, I still think that one has a lot of long-term potential just because the whole cloud storage, but with a lot of these coins I'm talking about, you probably won't see any movement for a while. Well, massive movements like you did in early May when the second boom happened. Then Ubiq. DGB is like in an awkward place right now after their little like CTI challenge that they didn't win, and they just been like a downhill slope, But this is just Coin Watch. This isn't Coin Invest. So even if it's been a loser these past 2-ish weeks, you can still see like the progression, even if it's a negative progression. And then we can learn from that coin and improve upon it with another one. Then Waves, ARC, and then the new one, ICN. So why is this one added? Well, I think the concept of it, now that I looked into it, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of like a digital, well, it's not there yet, but it's planning to kind of be one of those digital currency kind of hedge fund type things, but more decentralized and kind of like user, like crowd, like a crowd mind kind of selection rather than a centralized selection. So, very interesting concept. We'll have to see what happens with it. As with many of these, they're still in their infancy, so it's a lot of growth and a lot of potential to fail. But speaking of failures, so that GDAX flash crash, people actually did get reimbursed for it, but people also got to keep all their gains from it. So it's a very unique situation, I'd say. Usually it's one or the other, not both, for these types of deals. It's kind of surprising that people are getting reimbursed and people get to keep all the crazy human failure that happened with the margin trading. But, my opinion on this subject is, I guess it's a good move from like Coinbase to do that, considering there's people who lost a lot of money just because the exchange itself was pretty low liquidity. So the blame can't be put on the exchange entirely, though. Like, people are freaking out about losing the money, and that's understandable, but it was kind of their fault for having the wrong settings or not having extra precautions. But like I said, it makes total sense that people are getting reimbursed, because that just kind of, that would really set a dagger into the faith of crypto after, if that like wiped out tons of people's money, and plus all these ICOs just sucking people's money and sometimes running away with it if it's the really low end Bitcoin talk ICOs. But on to the next thing. Dedicated miners are becoming a new thing, like dedicated miners from the big manufacturers. AMD, I'm not sure if they're like on the train of being dedicated miners, or they just stumbled, like their cards are just better and they just like, yeah, we're gonna keep going with this, because Nvidia cards are always trash. And there's a technical reason for this that I did not care to look into, because I looked into it a long time ago when I was trying to mine and only had a Nvidia card. But now Nvidia is looking into making their own GPUs that are specifically good for cryptocurrency miners, because they see how AMD's always out of stock, because people are just buying up these GPUs to mine crypto. So I think that's a good business move, but I expect it to be super overpriced from Nvidia. But in a way, this could also help push GPU prices down a bit, since competition and people having more alternatives to buying miners instead of just taking like PC gamers options away for GPUs and making them more expensive for people who want them for video games instead of mining cryptocurrencies. So I think overall that's just good for everybody, that there's going to be more focus on dedicated mining GPUs. And then I saw some news about the Kick ICO. Yeah, Kick, like an actual fairly legit platform, as legit as a like messaging and nudes kind of platform can get, I guess. But their ICO is kind of slated for later this year, and that's pretty interesting. That the terms of it is pretty interesting, because I think it's gonna be one of the biggest like coin supplies that I've seen. Like they said 10 trillion coins, and that's insane amount of coins. So I don't know how to like interpret that. It's good that they're like investing in it for their platform, so it won't be a kind of money grab kind of thing, since the coin cap is ridiculous. But I don't know how investors are gonna kind of react to that. The division I saw from the news article was there's 1 trillions for the public, then it's gonna be around 3 or 4 trillion for over a 2.5 year time span. That's gonna be released on the Cake platform, and then they're gonna keep it like 6 trillion of it. So they're gonna keep the majority of it. Doing it this way, I could see like people who got in early, like super early, is gonna make a tidy profit from it. It's not gonna be I become a millionaire type of thing like Bitcoin or Ethereum could make, since the coin supply is huge. But if you had money, it's kind of, I feel like it's almost a surefire thing to make money, just because it's backed by someone that's pretty legitimate in comparison to a lot of other cryptocurrency related things. I don't know. I think it's just something to be looking out for. To be excited about, I don't know, but just to look out for it. So I've been seeing a lot of different blockchain solutions for ads in different ways. And this isn't really like a news segment. This is kind of like an op-ed kind of my opinion, since I kind of work with ads a bit, like writing ad copy for what I do and all that. I don't know if these things are actually gonna work out like as intended. Like theoretically, them solving the whole people don't like ads, so we're gonna use this instead of to reward people for indulging in ads. I'm not sure if it's gonna really work too well. Like for the coming generations, like I think it's gonna be perfect for like people who are older and still don't really care about the internet. They're just kind of casually, well, I'd say in general, anyone who's like kind of a casual browser, they're gonna like super into the internet. But anyone who like spends a lot of time on the internet, they're gonna really be like into not seeing ads, especially desktop wise. Like mobile focus is what these platforms should definitely be going for, because I'd say 90% of people do not try to do any kind of mobile ad blocking. And because I'm pretty sure it's impossible on like iPhones, but I know it's possible on Samsungs, but you have to like root your phone, and that's already too much for a lot of people. So if these ad like blockchain ad solutions want to really have an effect, they would have to go strictly mobile, in my opinion, because from what I'm seeing, like ads are changing from like their obvious form of here you go, this is an ad, to more kind of subtle people like endorsing things, or people, or there's like a cheeky link into something. But there's also kind of a pushback from the FCC about disclosing that pretty blatantly, so people are like tricked into anything. So that's something to keep in mind too. But these people who try to have solutions for desktop ads, I don't know how well that's gonna work out. I kind of feel like most of these are gonna die off if desktop is their focus. And that I'm just gonna end in that little opt-ed section there. And before I move into this next segment, I'm gonna kind of discuss about the last two, like a little bit of meta discussion. So I've been a bit busy with other things lately. So CoinWatch has been lacking, very lacking. I acknowledge that. So I'm still gonna be super busy in the coming weeks, and even more in another month when I go back to university and have good internet. So to make up for that, I'm thinking in the future when I have good internet, I might do more live stream things occasionally, like maybe on the weekend throw down some kind of like discussion to get like interaction instead of just throwing out something and you listening. And maybe even like trying to arrange interviews with people. I don't do that now because my internet's super trash while I'm home. Like garbage, utterly garbage. So I have to do kind of like everything pre and then set it to uploading and wait like 20 minutes for like 50 megabytes to upload. Sometimes a smaller file than that, but yeah. I'm going to make it up to you guys with this breach in quality. And you might think, well, if you don't have any time, why would you do all these extra things? Well, just blabbering my mouth isn't really that time consuming as digesting white papers and like trying to communicate it in a simplified way, or keeping up with a million different coins. That's why that's kind of like slacked off. So, yeah, in the meta discussion, on to the next segment. So, last week, if you listened to the last podcast, I straight up messed up fucking everything with this section. I just totally dropped the ball with knowing what day it was, and I did the whole Mentality Monday as a Thursday segment, which is kind of like, if you don't know, Mondays are supposed to be like internal, like how do you deal with like your internal troubles, while Thursdays is more like dealing with things more external that are affecting you. So I kind of messed it up with a topic that was more external than internal. I don't even remember what it was. But so today, I just know I need to make it up. So today's Thursday, True Talk Thursday, is a Mentality Monday about not being caught up about old opportunities that were missed, but focusing on the new opportunities. So I kind of chose this topic because this is kind of relating to what I'm dealing with right now, which is why I've been busy. You know, opportunities come up more than you think. Sometimes they're really small ones that could go and build up to bigger ones. That's why you shouldn't be worrying too much about things you missed. Like, if I would have did this, I'd be here now. You don't know that. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. But the thing is, you should learn from that and be like, this is very similar to a situation I was in, and I missed the chance for that. So this time, I'm not going to miss the chance of that. And, excuse me. And that is something like, that's like a good lesson just in general. Try to like think about these situations that you think you missed out on, and then think about why you think you missed out on them. And just take that and be like, all right, if something similar pops up, I'll be ready for it. But, you know, another thing, just kind of a side note about opportunity. Opportunity doesn't always just kind of show itself. Sometimes you have to go in and do a lot of stuff before opportunity presents itself. So, if you're kind of one of those passive kind of traders, or just passive and think, oh, I can just sit by and somebody will tell me all about this amazing thing that'll make me tons of money. It doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes you gotta go in your groundwork and do all the things yourself and kind of like lay it out. So me being lazy might influence you to not be lazy on your end. Just another sidebar there. So what I want you to take from this Mentality Monday on a Thursday is something I had said before about just keeping your mentality kind of straight and not focusing on what could have been. But this time, not just kind of ignoring the what could have been, but looking forward to the next thing, to the next opportunity, to the next coin. So staying on it. I think next time, since most of my things have been around under 20, I'm not going to break that just yet until quality upgrade. But next time, expect me to talk about like more about scams and like coin selection, because I've noticed kind of a lot, especially since a lot of newer people are into this. Like, some of these people take advantage of the boons with their scams, and just how to kind of identify when someone's probably up to no good, because I've been around for a while and I could, like, the general red flags, like, stay away. But expect that on Monday. So that's been the True Talk Thursdays, but not really, because I messed up Mondays. And before I go, I just want to give a shout out to the first Discord user that actually joined it, which is, I'm kind of surprised that someone actually joined it, because I kind of expected to wait a little bit longer. So shout outs to ATG8446 for being the first person on Discord. And you guys out there can be the second and the third people in the Discord. just check out my terrible website, cryptospendthrift.com, and join that Discord link. So, see you guys Monday on the next episode of the Crypto Spendthrift Podcast.